This is the English Literature Web YouTube channel. I am Prof.L.B.Gayakawad is discussing today with you about the topic types of interviews. This is my lecture 271 part 1st. So here today we are discussing about the types of the interviews. Remember, the interviews are the particular concepts which are there, very important, and this interview comes into the life of every serviceman, and this interview should be accepted and should be attended very sincerely by the particular gentleman. That is the most important thing here. So the first type of the interview will be discussed is that the first type is the telephone interview. Means remember here, when we discuss the telephone interview, we say that before inviting to attend the face-to-face meeting, the companies or the firms manage first the interview on phone to know what type of the candidate is. Remember, the company or the organization wants to see the type of the candidate, means what type of the candidate is, or how he is talented, or how he possesses, or how he has possessed the knowledge of the particular subject. That's why they discuss with him at first on phone. This interview is beneficial as our notes are before us. Remember, we discuss here that this interview is very much beneficial because our notes are before us, because when those persons talk with us on phone, at that time our notes are there before us, and we can see those notes and we can answer those questions which are asked by the hiring manager or the company, I will say employer. And that's why these notes which are there in front of us help us. And so this type of the interview is very much lucky for the employee. We can we can prepare for this interview as we do for the face-to-face interview. Remember here, the second interview or the next interview is about the direct contact, means we can say it is the face-to-face interview, and this interview on phone is the rehearsal, or I will say the practice of the face-to-face interview, and that's why it is very much important. But we should know that this interview is our first impression. Remember, this is our first impression, because if we fail this, the firm once again will not invite us for the face-to-face meeting. So remember, this interview on phone is very, very dangerous for us, because if we fail, then again the company will not invite us for the face-to-face meeting. Therefore, we should answer all the questions very confidently and satisfiedly. Now, the second type of the interview is the face-to-face interview, because just we have seen the interview on phone. Now, this is the second interview, which is called the face-to-face interview. This face-to-face interview can be between the candidate and one or two members of the staff of the company. Means there are two members of the company, of the organization, or one director is there, and this interview happens between these two persons or three persons, and this is the direct contact of this employee with the employers, and that's why here this is very serious interview. They can tell us to introduce, means their first question is to introduce yourself, and that's why there we should tell about us, and they tell us they ask us some questions, or some questions on background, or some questions on our knowledge, on our syllabus. Now, third interview type is the panel interview. This is the interview in which there is a panel. It means a group of members and a chairperson of the panel. Remember, there is the chairperson and there is the panel. It means there are some members, group members, and one chairperson, and these persons take the interview of the candidate. This interview is more popular in public sector. Remember, this is known as the most popular interview type. The fourth interview type is the group interview. There are many candidates. Remember, there are many candidates present to attend this meeting. Means there is no one candidate. There are many candidates are called for the meeting. It is known as the group discussion, and that's why this interview is called the group discussion. The candidate has to discuss with the candidates. Means all the candidates discuss with each other about their theme, or about their business, or about their syllabus. Teamwork can be given here to the candidate. Means because all the candidates are there in the group, and that's why it is the teamwork, and that's why the teamwork is given, or the work is given to all the candidates there, or one candidate is given the teamwork. Here the candidate has to speak up and say his opinion. So remember, here the directors, or the chairperson, or the members of the group expect there that the candidate should explain his own opinion. The fifth type of the interview is the sequential interview. In the sequential interview, at the same time, there are the several interviews in turn. In turn means one by one, there are several interviews, one after another. There are many interviews with a new and different interviewer. Means remember, the directors are changed, the members are changed, and they come one by one and they take the interview, and that's why this interview is called the sequential interview. Each interviewer asks questions to test the competencies which are available in the character of the candidate. If the interviewer asks the same questions, the candidate should answer them as fully. As fully means the candidate should give the answers very detailed, because he had answered before, because the same questions were asked to the candidate before, and now again the same questions have been asked to the candidate. That's why this candidate should give the answers very detailed. It means his answers now should be very detailed and descriptive. So remember, here we have seen the lecture number 271, and that is the lecture on the interviews called types of interviews. Again, we will come in front of each other with a new topic. Till then, thank you very much.